Well, hello once again, and welcome to Jagged Armory. It has been a minute since we had last got together. I think by my math, close to 3 years. My apologies. Not to suggest there are a ton of you wondering where the next video is. I know I don't have a gazillion of subscribers, though I am very appreciative for those I do have. I've just been very busy. Life has been crazy the last 3 years. It's all good. And over this period of time, I've had the opportunity to acquire some new stuff, and so I wanted to share some of that with you. In any event, I am not a big fan of review videos. There's a ton of them out there. I just assume let everybody else do it. However, since there have been some new acquisitions and some things of new interest, I thought I'd share some of these things and see what you think. I welcome the comments below, positive, negative, up, down, sideways, you know. So what we're going to talk about today is a cartridge known as 50GI, which stands for Guncrafter Industries. It's this guy right here. And if you ask me, it looks like a 45 ACP that needs to go on a diet, perhaps. Keto, Atkins, whatever works. A lot of fun to shoot and very interesting. Guncrafter Industries originally developed this for 1911s that were chambered in that. And a few years ago, they said, why don't we give it a whirl on a Glock platform? And that's what we have here. This is a Glock 21 frame. And you can buy just the upper, which is what I did, which consists of, and this comes apart just like any other Glock. This is what you get. And in this particular case, it's a stainless steel slide. They offer it in stainless or the Tenifer finish. Comes with the stainless steel captive recoil spring and guide rod assembly. And of course the barrel, which likes to get stuck in here. It's a very snug fit. You got to give it a little wiggle and then it'll come free. Here we go. You can see the bore in that. That is really big. Again, it's 50 cal. I'm a big fan of big bore stuff. I know my other videos haven't really shown that, but anything from as big as 50 BMG all the way down to this little guy here. I'm a big fan of 50 Beowulf and an AR, also 500 S&W and their revolvers, which are just fantastic. With the exception of the 50 BMG, all the other calibers that I mentioned can use many of the same projectiles. And speaking of that, Guncrafter offers their own ammunition, and they have a few different varieties, starting with their 185 grain copper hollow point, a 230 grain copper hollow point, a 255 grain lead semi-wad cutter. Personally, I'm not a big fan of lead. Not that it causes a problem with this barrel. It doesn't let up or anything like that. It's been really, really good. I just don't like exposed lead. However, these do scoot along pretty well, and since they are a semi-wad cutter, they leave that really nice hole in your targets, which makes things easy to see and find. A 275 grain jacketed hollow point, and finally they offer a 300 grain jacketed flat point. Well, as you can tell, since I tore the labels off all the boxes, I'm out of ammo. I shot everything that I bought when I bought the upper for this frame that I had laying around. By the way, speaking of which, I just did some fun stuff to it. Again, it's a 21 frame that I had stippled. I went with a Carver Magwell. I believe this is a pyramid trigger assembly. Did the extended slide catch, the extended magazine release, just some stainless accessories, the base plate. Speaking of the base plate on the magazine, this is essentially a G21 magazine. But it does not hold 13 rounds. It'll hold 8 of the 50GI since they're significantly larger in diameter than the 45s are. However, they are specific to the 50GI, and if you're going to run this, make sure you get a 50GI mag because the feed lips are different and the way the round operates is going to chamber a little bit differently than your typical 45 ACP would. Having said that, since I shot through everything, I do a lot of hand loading for rifles, handguns, whatever. And I gave the folks at Guncrafter Industries a shout and asked, hey, what projectiles can you use that are also perhaps readily available on the market or somewhat available. And I say that because I have nothing under 300 grains. And what I do have at 300 is like a Hornady FTX, which is like, well, this isn't the best example, but this is what it kind of looks like. This isn't a 44 Magnum, but you see it's got the polymer tip. At any rate, far too long in the 50 cal. Even though it was a 300 grain projectile, I when I would seat it, I couldn't. I had to seat it way too deep, and then it just was a big mess. So they told me, hey, if it'll work in a 50 AE Ashen Express, it'll work on a 50 GI, that opened up a few doors, and I was able to get a hold of some Spear 325 grain jacketed hollow points, which these are. I went ahead and again had plenty of brass left over. I'm using Winchester large pistol primers. And for those of you familiar with Winchester large pistol, if I'm not mistaken, most all of the Winchester large pistol can be used in either standard or Magnum configurations. So it gives you a little bit of additional flexibility. That's what I'm using here. Also, as far as powder goes, I'm running Alliant Power Pistol, 7.5 grains. And I'm seating to an overall cartridge length of 1.220 inches. This combination is getting me 750 feet per second. So on a 325 grain projectile, that's a lot of kinetic energy flying at you. And I got to tell you, very, very accurate. Very, very happy with the groups. And the recoil is stout. Tends to remind me of a stout 10 millimeter load for those that are curious. But again, a lot of fun to shoot. In any event, it is a really neat idea. As I told you, I'm a big fan of big bore stuff, whether it's 50 AE, 50 GI, 50 BMG in a rifle, 460 S&W, 454 Casull, 40 Ruger, you name it. Not a lot of stuff like that in the semi-auto world, however. Of course, I have a Desert Eagle chambered in 50 AE, which is a lot of fun to shoot. But this is, yet again, something slightly different. So I thought like I say, just wanted to get online and say hello to you folks yet again, let you know that I am still breathing, and to share with you some of the interesting items that are out there and that do exist in the world so far. The folks at Guncrafter Industries have been fantastic to me. I had a bunch of questions. They've been happy to get involved and answer those things. The technical information is fantastic, and their product is just fantastic. They have not paid me for this. I didn't get a discount on any of this. I paid full retail, and I had to wait, I think, two and a half months at the time in order to get the upper. You can buy a complete firearm from them, or you can buy just the upper assembly to slide on your Glock. That's what I chose to do, and you can do the same. I'm fairly certain you can look them up at guncrafterindustries.com, something along those lines. I'm sure we'll get you the information that you're after. Okay, well, this has gone on long enough. It's great to be with you folks again. I will try not to be such a stranger. We may show some takedown videos. I know that's been my typical thing lately, just to show basic disassembly of a different firearm. But there may be some review stuff coming as well, because I thought I'd get back into the swing of things. So, as always, great to see you all again, and be well and good shooting.